When thinking about the pedagogy that Obrizum uses, and by pedagogy I mean the methods and practices that we use to help people learn, that process is kind of fundamental to understanding whether your methodologies are having an impact. In Obrizum, we are very much focused on this concept of measurement and verification of understanding. Indeed, the name Obrizum actually means assessment. Interestingly, in Roman times, the word Obrizum, which by its Latin definition means pure gold, was synonymous with this concept of assessment because of the way in which gold was tested by repeatedly putting it into fire. So we want to use this concept of measurement and verification in order to understand whether our pedagogy or andragogy is working very well. As an adaptive learning company, this is really interesting because we're going to be sending adults on different journeys based on their own individual understanding of subject matter. So we're going to want to assess people sometimes before they've been exposed to learning content and sometimes after they've been exposed to learning content. And there's a really exciting and interesting base of empirical research which deals with the benefits of testing people before, where they've seen interesting impacts on learning when you assess people before they've been exposed to the content. And equally an equivalent base of research which shows benefits to post-testing, so after students have been exposed to content. Obrizum does both. Well, we do both because we want to be able to separate what an individual or individual student already knew and understood about a subject matter, and then what we were able to teach them through this adaptive methodology during the time that they're with us in the Obrizum platform. And this is where metacognition comes into play. Our assessments, we want them to be fast, scalable, and to be able to be delivered against any potential subject that one of our customers or clients may wish to cover. So multiple choice questions are absolutely fantastic in terms of being scalable, quick. But the problem with multiple choice questions is that people can come along and they can just pick B every single time and end up being rewarded for guessing. In Obrizum, we have transformed the traditional multiple choice question into what we call a metacognitive MCQ. We call it metacognitive MCQ or MMCQ because we will be engaging metacognitive decision making in those learners. So imagine, if you will, a traditional multiple choice question with a question stem and then a number of answer options, A to D. In Obrizum, the students not only have to select the right answer or answers, if more than one might be correct, they have to tell our system how confident they are that they're about to be right. And our system will then reward them points for being confident and correct, and we will take away points when they're confident and incorrect. Metacognition is coming into play here, and metacognition is thinking about thinking. It's your natural cross-referencing mechanism that happens in your brain when you are trying to understand whether you've got something correct. It's your self-awareness gauge, if you will, in your mind that you can turn on. Metacognition is something that can be measured through tools like functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, where you can see parts of the brain light up due to increased blood flow when metacognition is impacted. And so rather than just asking students to select an answer and make a handle-turning decision or guess, we're trying to get them to engage in metacognition and mental retrieval processes as they're learning and answering these assessments, so that we can really get a feel for where their certainty lies, what's the probability of them understanding it. And this gives us a better diagnostic picture of their understanding, awareness, and confidence. So you can see with the humble multiple choice question, with the transformation that we've made at Obrizum, you unlock so much more information. Now we know where a student is confident, also where they may be unsure. Because of the intelligent point system that we've attached, we know also where they might be guessing or trying to kind of game the system. These things are really useful for doing diagnostics on understanding. Because we've also analysed and addressed the concepts covered in the content, and we understand the level of metacognition happening at the assessment level, we can pair those two things together and really get a feel for that student's unique profile for understanding in a given subject or topic. Metacognition has been studied for very, very many years, so there's a very strong and convincing base of empirical research to show that metacognition has a positive influence in determining learning outcomes and memory, and even into practical skill performance, which is really, really useful. But we hadn't seen the field apply this to personalized learning in the way that we have at Obrizum. So our pedagogy, or andragogy, is really grounded in this concept of metacognition, metacognitive decision making, and we employ that with great impact to get a better quality picture of what's happening as learning progresses. The final thing I would say is that in assessing students after they've seen content, we really get an understanding of learning over time. So we want to be able to measure and quantify the changes that happen as students learn. If you're going to deliver adaptive learning, which means that students may see things in their own unique order, then the measurement and verification of before, during and after is the smoking gun for understanding whether the whole process has worked.